So good morning and welcome back. As you can see, the weather has turned somewhat, which is a good thing and a bad thing. The good thing is obviously that it's not quite as warm as it was, but unfortunately it's now pouring with rain. So as you can see, the gutter's still, where's my finger, there, holding up, but it's going to need some serious attention before the winter, because all of the water from all of the roofs on this side of the house accumulate on that roof and then try and go down little tiny, finger again, 80mm pipe, which is far too small. So anyway, we're just going to dive straight back in, pick up where I left off yesterday. So plastering and then finishing up the plasterboard. That's the big plan for today. So it's not a massive day, it's Sunday. Lunch will be down at the Cooperativa, in the one on the bottom of the village. So I'll show you what we're having there. It's sort of like another village lunch thing, so that'll be very nice. And then I'm invited to a barbecue this evening, so it's going to be a good busy Sunday. The sun seems to be coming out now all of a sudden. It's raining and sunny, so there must be a rainbow somewhere, but I can't see it. So there we go. Thank you all for watching the last video. I read through the comments. It's amazing how many people actually watch and are interested. So thank you. Right, back to work. Well, amazing lunch. Time to get stuck back in. I'm going to mix up a bucket of plaster. This morning's rain has disappeared. I spent half the morning climbing up into various eaves trying to shift the couple of tiles around that are still letting some water in. I don't know how much that's helped, because then, rather unusefully, it almost immediately stopped raining when I went for lunch. So we'll have to see. I think it might rain again tomorrow, we'll see. But for right now, I get a bucket of plaster mixed up and get that on the wall. Up, down the middle. I ran slightly short there on cement, but as that's only the base layer and we need something for it to stick to, that'll be fine. Now, as you can see, it was a bit warm yesterday, so it dried a bit quickly and there are a few cracks in this, but it's hard, it's not going anywhere, and it's the undercoat, so it won't be a problem. Somebody did comment that they thought that was cement. It's not cement. It contains cement, but it's a chalk render, and it's specifically designed to be the most breathable and the stickiest to go straight onto stone. So it really is exactly for this application. And we'll let the wall breathe, because otherwise the wall would rot away. So I'm going to leave that to dry. I'm not supposed to put anything on the on these ones over here that have already dried or are drying for at least another day, so maybe tomorrow. So plasterboard there, plasterboard here, basically get everything finished up, and then perhaps, yes, plasterboard here as well, the shower, get that finished. I'm going to swap out the shower system. Someone asked why there's a tap on it. Well, I put a tap on all of them. On the other one, it sort of folds out. On this one, it's already there. There's no real price difference, but with showers, and because these are the only showers we have at the moment, if you have a baby, you may well need to fill a baby bath or fill a bucket or something. It's much easier to do just by turning this forward. So you've got, this has like a rain shower that goes up, and then it'll have a flexi pipe with a handheld shower, and then you can have water coming out of here as well. But before I put this wall up, I need to get the drain sorted down here for the shower tray. Yeah, none of that's particularly complicated. So keep cracking on. I'm going to start with plasterboarding everything except the shower first, and then I'll have to turn off the water, take out the shower. So I'll probably do that either later on, although time is flying by today, or perhaps tomorrow. Really starts coming together, all that planning and all that framework. Little tiny bit in here, bottom is okay. Bit there, bit there, bit there on both sides. And then just the shower, and there is still, which I just remembered, a piece missing there. Once we're done with that, start taking things apart. The lid will have to come off again, the sink will have to come off again. Obviously everything is now straight and lined up, so that will make sure that when we paint, when I paint rather, I won't then have to start scratching and digging holes and what have you. But well, we're not quite at painting yet. We're not too far off though. We're not quite at painting yet. I don't think I'm going to paint anything until the whole room is ready for painting, and that is still quite far off. There's the ceiling to do, there's the plastering all the way around. I need to find a solution for the windows, so yeah, let me talk about that for a second. Lots of comments recently asking for an update on the 110% subsidy scheme, and I haven't got an update. I've spoken to the architect, and everything is taking a very long time. They keep changing little tiny details in the rules, and they've already extended the maximum duration by a year. So the pressure is off, but I really did want the roof to be done quickly. And the companies that are doing this, so the companies that are all in, are completely overbooked. So it's all going to take a little bit longer than I had initially hoped. If I was an Italian resident and pay tax here, it would be easy. I just have to pay the money and I get it back on my taxes over the next few years. But the real advantage of this scheme is that you don't have to spend any money, and that you can sell that credit on to either the bank or the building company or anyone else. So so that's the way I want to do it. I don't want to pay the sums and then try and get it back at a later date. Yeah, well, as soon as I have a real update on that, I will update you. So the update is there is no update, unfortunately. And the update on the car, on the Golf, is that it did fail the second time because I forgot a little teeny clip on the back where the brake line goes into the brake hose just to keep the tension there, which was a stupid thing to do, but the guy didn't want to hear anything about it. He just said, no, that's a fail, sorry. So I parked it in the garage, and since then, well, with all the kids' birthday parties and driving to Germany and coming here and stuff, it's gone a bit onto the back burner. So that's the rest of the update. Back to plasterboarding. Okay, good morning and welcome back. It's now Monday morning, day 3. The plaster, you can see these bits are pretty dry. Yesterday not so. So I'm going to leave that for a little while longer, and the first thing I'm going to do this morning is finish up plasterboarding the shower. So to do that, I need to fit the drain down here at the bottom, plumb that up, turn off the water, take off this tap. This tap will be going, as I mentioned, into the other bathroom. Basically swap the two out, measure up, and screw the plasterboard in. At that point, it is then only just really a couple of little tiny bits. There's this little tiny bit up here, and then there's the frames here, and then you can start gluing the protectors on. So first things first, I'm just going to get that drain set up. Oh well, when I took the shower tray away there was a bit of a surprise, because it's a bit damp down here. And in fact, it's just dripping from there. So that's nothing serious. It's not actually anything to do with the plumbing. It's just the tap isn't on properly. Because I'm going to take that off any minute now. That shouldn't make too much difference. So there's our tea. And over here, that's our box of goodies. So there's the wastegate, flexi pipe, and then the rest pretty much is just to screw it into the shower tray. Got a little basket to collect hair, I would imagine, the seal, the top bit that screws into it, and then the lid. So we don't need this yet. We don't need this yet. Certainly don't need that on this. Here we're missing the plug, but all I really need to do now, before I plaster everything up, is just put this bit of flexi pipe and plug it into there, and then avoid treading on it and destroying it later. And there we go. So with a little bit of scraping and a lot of lube, I got that on. So now everything is completely set up here. And I can unscrew the tap. This one's leaking as well. Unscrew the tap. I've turned the water off already. So then we can start just screwing this plasterboard wall up, marking up the holes, and that'll be yet another mini stage finished. Okay, so I just need to put in the other 50 odd screws to hold that in properly. What you saw me do was just push the piece of plasterboard up and then bang on it a couple of times, and those the brass fittings marked perfectly where it was supposed to go. So that's pretty good. A little bit up at the top. But, really, now you can sort of feel exactly how it's all supposed to work. You can just imagine being stood here, having a quick shower, and then whoops, into bed. Perfect. Yeah, so obviously not so exciting to time lapse me putting screws into the wall, so I'll just do that now quickly, and then cut another piece for the top. And there we go. All done. So because I do want to turn the water on at some point, I'm going to now go and get the shower fitting from the other little bathroom, and put it on here, and put the one that was on here next door, and fit the rain shower for that. So I'm just taking this to bits, and the real problem I had, and the reason I'm taking this to bits, is because this, which normally would go on there and hold that level, well, when I built this I wasn't thinking about that, so the wall stops here. This is far too low, so I improvised and put this in, but it just kept pushing the pipe up, and then it would pop off and shoot water onto the ceiling. So on the other side we've got a flat wall all the way up. I can screw it all together and it'll be much better. Okay, swap them around. This is what this one looks like, so that gives you more of an idea of you know, exactly how this shower space works. I think it works pretty well. The light is directly above the shower head. It sort of gives it a halo when you're stood underneath it. It's not bad at all. So yeah, pretty happy with that. Now some of you may be wondering why I'm putting this all together before waterproofing, before doing anything else. Well, I'm drilling holes. You know, there's a hole up there to screw that into. This all needs to be lined up perfectly. So doing it now means that when I waterproof everything, I won't be making new holes. I can waterproof that plug, that wall plug, straight in, and the whole thing should hopefully then come together with a little more ease a little bit further down the line. Like this, and now has its rain shower up here above the end of the wall, which wouldn't have worked with the other system, but here you can set the height with this quick release knob and just shift it up and down. So you know, neither of these are particularly special shower units. They're both from Amazon. They were both less than €100. You can spend thousands of euros on this, but I didn't really want to. And if I do ever decide to change them, well, you know, they just unbolt very quickly. But so far, the other one, which was even cheaper than this one, was has been very good. So I see no problem there. Okay, I'm going to pop down and turn on the water so I can tidy up the mess I made. And then we'll see what we do next. And that, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, is that for the plasterboard inside and out in the ensuite. We only have the ceiling to plasterboard, the beams, doing all of the plastering, doing the joints. So there's still plenty left to do, but that is done. And it's pretty much what I was hoping for. I think it's going to look really nice. I was kind of, at some point I thought maybe an arch into the loo, but not into the loo, into the shower rather. Just seemed like a lot of effort. So I think it looks great, square. I think it'll be fun. It's nice the way the kind of the light sort of comes out of there. They're very nice warmth of light. They're pretty cheap, but the colour's sort of nice and old-fashioned. The same with these light bulbs here. So all in, pretty good show. I need Alex now because he kept tidying up after me, and that was wonderful. But looks like I'm going to have to do it myself this time. So next up is going to be a bucket of chalk cement plaster for the second layer there. That looks pretty good to me, so does that. That looks good too. That doesn't look like it's dried out properly yet. So in fact, no, I might not do that. I might skip that today and let them all set properly so that I can do them all in one go again, rather than doing that and then doing that and then moving on to plaster. So so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go and get the plane. This is the last thing that was suggested last time I was here trying to get paint off beams, was to try the electric plane on it. And I do have an electric plane, so I'm going to set it very, very thin and see if that does anything. It would mean that I don't have to wire brush just the, you see there's kind of like a moulding on the corner there. If I just have to wire brush that, that wouldn't be too hard. But if the plane brings the beams up nicely, that could be a real game changer. So I'm gonna go and get the extension cable set up and see how we do. Well, this is the beast. So there's a set of, oops, get that in focus, very sharp knives in there, and they spin around. And plane, you can set the thickness. I'll probably end up using it on this piece of wood actually as well. So you can set just how much is planed. That's the difference then between the front and the back. Okay, well that is a result compared to all the other faffing abouts there. I've perhaps gone a little deep there, but a few marks aren't going to do much damage. I'll have to find a way to get rid of this afterwards. But that looks amazing. Look at that, that's a beautiful piece of wood. So, to celebrate, I'm just going to get on with it. I'm going to go and get a proper dust mask because I didn't think it was going to be dusty, but it is. And I'm going to start at the end and slowly work my way down. And there'll be a few imperfections, obviously, but I need to get it just set perfectly. And then where there are dips and there's paint in there, I'll go over that either with a sander or with a wire attachment. But basically, that's going to look amazing. Oh, I think that looks amazing. I think with a bit more, obviously it's going to take some time. Problem is getting it up to there. It doesn't go any further because of this sort of leveling board. Oops, you can't see that. This leveling, there's like a leveling board there on the edge of the beam that keeps this gap closed, because obviously these are laid on top of the beams and go all the way across. So that's a bit of a pain, but I think a wire brush, just a little wire brush along there, probably get rid of that quite nicely, and then we've got the moulding. But in literally 10 minutes, I've done the first run on 3/4 of this beam. I think if I go over it once more afterwards, all the way along, it'll come up pretty good. There are some places like little indentations or bits that were filled in with plaster for some reason. So they'll need a little bit more love. But basically this is going to be a fabulous solution. So thank you very, very much, whoever it was who suggested it, in the comments. This is the learning curve. This is what it's all about. So I think that's going to look amazing when it's all done, and a nice white ceiling and some sort of, haven't really decided what kind of lamp here. Looked at some things in the sale, but I think probably something not too ostentatious or huge, just a normal sort of hangy lamp. And this room will be amazing. Okay, so I'm going through them one by one. I've just had a quick go with the sander with some 60 on it, and that wasn't very, very efficient. So next up I'm going to try the multi-tool with the scraper on it, which I've put on upside down, I've just noticed. And we'll see if that does anything more useful. I guess it's similar-ish in action to the plane without being rotating, so let's see how we do there. Okay, so here's the bit I sanded. With a lot of effort, you can sort of get there. Here's the bit I did with that scrapey thing. Now it actually damages the wood a bit. I think when it's done we'll need to sand everything once over anyway, but once all the paint is off. But still, not so ideal, certainly not as good as the plane, which has done a lovely job. And it's a shame it's got such a big gap on the side that I can't plane up to. I might have to check online. Now the two other things that I'm thinking of are a wire brush, an actual wire brush, because we tried the nylon brush and that was rubbish. A wire brush or a belt sander. I haven't got a belt sander, but somewhere I do have a wire brush for the drill, so I'll go and find that now. Okay, next up, this on the grinder. This is a little toy grinder. I don't hold that much hope, and I'm going to be very careful because I don't want it to damage the wood too much. It's a twisted one, so I'm going to be very gentle and just try a little corner and see how that does, because it is a very, very thick layer of paint on there. It's been painted probably 20 or 30 times over the last 100 years. So we'll just get set and see what happens. Okay, so actually once I take my glasses off, you can see that it's chewed up this, and it's not done anything good to the wood here either. Oh, you can see that, but it's sort of mangling. It's not pretty, and the plane does such a beautiful job of it. What I'd need is a plane with no edges there. By wire brush this or nylon brush this, even if it takes some time, and there's still a little bit of paint, although, you know, the occasional spot like this, some of those are a bit bigger, but the occasional little bit, which is sort of half worn through, once I've gone over that with the sander, I don't think that'll bother anyone. I'm just going to oil them, both of the beams. But I think we're definitely onto something with the planer. It's just about finishing now, and that's the big question. So if I could get a planer which didn't have something sticking out of the side of it. The problem, I can show you, is this here. This part, the other side's even wider, and this side just butts up against that piece of wood that sticks out, and gives, well, exactly that width that it can't plane to. Okay, well, after a bit of faffing about, the plane is very good on the bottom surface. It works pretty well too. And yeah, I think I'm going to try a belt sander, to be honest, because it's the plane is super flat and the wood isn't super flat. So I think the belt sander might be able to absorb more of those little bits. And then I'm going to buy a proper normal wire brush for the drill, not that huge thing that is that's going to destroy the wood, and then have a go with that with the moulding on the corner. But the belt sander should be able also to get right up to the level there. So I'm going to go shopping probably tomorrow morning now. I'm going to ask the locals this evening where I'm going to find a belt sander, because I don't want to spend hours and hours in the car when I should be here plastering. I really want to get that replastered tomorrow. So what I'm going to do now is mix up some waterproof joint goo, and I'm going to glue these corner protecting pieces into place, because that's the first stage of getting the plasterboard finished. So they'll just go on here, and it means when you kind of knock into this, you won't take a big chunk out of it, take a big chunk out of you. So I've got here, there and there, inside and out, and up there as well. Those are open angles. And then I have an open angle here, this corner, all the way down. And in the loo, the niche bit, those were the offcuts from that first bit that I just took. Turn the light on. Boop. Round there, that's it. So it's not much, but it's just something that needs to be done. Might as well do it. It's certainly not going to stop me from doing anything else. And then we'll get on with, well, we'll see. I mean, we need to do all of the plasterboard joints basically, slowly but surely. But I wanted to get the beams done so that I can start plasterboarding the ceiling. I don't want to do plasterboard joints more times than are absolutely necessary. So I'd rather actually plasterboard the ceiling and then joint everything at once. But these outside edges need to be done, so I'll do them now. We used in the other bathroom, it turns green as soon as you add water, otherwise it's a white powder. Mixed it up, yogurtish, Greek yogurt I suppose, a little bit thicker than the stuff I have for breakfast. And then, right, it's just a case of smearing it along the corner apparently. I've never done this before. Pushing this on and then sliding once down. So I've got my spatula, nice and new. Just sat there in the builder's merchants looking at me, so I bought it. Well, we'll just give it a go and see how we get on. well, unfortunately my phone ran out of storage again doing that. I keep deleting more and more stuff, but these videos take up a huge amount of space. So there we go. They're on. Obviously not perfect because it never is when I do plastering, but I think with a quick go over when I start doing the screws and the other joints, it'll be fine. Now I don't want to knock it or anything else while it's setting, so instead of doing up there next, I'm going to do in the loo the little fiddly bits. I can open the door. Something to open the door. I need to choose a nice door handle for this. Light on. So it's these, and there's no way I can actually film it while I'm doing this, because if I'm stood here, then I'm blocking the door, and I can't get the camera behind me. It's pretty tight in here. So I'm just gonna cut muck and glue, and then I'll show you how it looks. So here are the inconvenience of living in a tiny village. Car there, truck there. He's got 0.5 millimetre left and right. She's got nowhere to, well, she could probably reverse that, but there you go. So you lose 15 minutes manoeuvring, folding in wing mirrors and what have you. Okay, well that was a lot more complicated than I was hoping it to be, but well, it's sticky, it'll need a bit of love later on. I've only got a tiny bit left, so I've got some normal paper and I'm going to try and do the first inside corner in the shower at the back against the wall, because that'll probably need doing a fair few times as well. So that's this one here. So there we go, I finished up my bucket of muck. It's pretty much on the wall. It's not perfect, I'm going to go over it again, but this whole area here is going to get the cement treatment that we used in the other shower, because I think it looked really good. The ceiling will probably stay white, although not necessarily, we'll see, and everything else will become sort of cement up to probably just the inside ledge there, and then this will paint white. And outside I think the rest of the room will be white, except the beams, which will be wood, and the doors and windows will be white on the inside. They'll obviously be changed at some point. So yeah, pretty happy with that, and that's going to be it for today. The weather's been a bit iffy all day, which is quite nice because it means it's not that hot. It's still pretty warm, but it's not absolutely baking like it was when I arrived. It's been a busy couple of days since the last video. I'm going to go and edit now. Once again, thank you very much for watching. If you enjoyed this video and you want to see more like it, then subscribe. If you want to see the whole progress, you just have to go onto the channel, click on the videos and then list them in order of time, and you can see from the thumbnails when I'm here. It's mostly here. There are a few touristy bits, but you'll see I've certainly find out a lot of information. So a lot of the questions that are asked by new guys, there are old videos there, and every once in a while I do sort of a recap, but there you go. So thank you very much for now. It's Monday, I'm here for another couple of days, so there will definitely be another one before I go home. So stay tuned for that, and take care. See you soon. Bye bye for now.